loves, welcome back to my kitchen table and to my channel, Home and Arrows. My name is Shirley and I'm a homeschooling mom to 5 kiddos that I like to call my arrows, and I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 12 years. And I'm super passionate about chatting with moms and encouraging them to really cherish and embrace, oh my gosh, try that again. To really cherish and embrace the short season of motherhood that they have their little arrows home with them. So I'm really excited to share with you something today. When my older girls were little, they are now 12 and 11, when they were younger, there is a game that my husband and I used to play with them, and I found this game to be so valuable that I really thought that I would share it with all of you today. So stick around. That I want to tell you about, I learned about it and heard about it when I was at a homeschool conference, oh my gosh, maybe like 8 years ago, and it really stuck with me. The point of the game is to prepare kids for real life encounters that they might one day face. Now, my kids are homeschooled, so they are pretty much with me all of the time. But there are also lots of times where they aren't with me. We have church, we have homeschool co-op where they're in classes with other kids. They spend time with their grandparents, they go hang out at the pool, and I'm just not a helicopter mom who is constantly and always hovering over them in those kinds of situations. So this game, the What If game, is intended to prepare my kids to make really good, wise, and careful and godly and biblical decisions in the event that I or my husband aren't around to help them make the right decisions. Here's the deal. When you're in the heat of the moment, sometimes it's really hard to know how to respond unless you have previously thought through that situation and how you would respond. And this game is simply a way to prepare our kids beforehand. That way, when something does happen, they at least have a mental reference that they can go to for how they should respond. Having talked to our kids about the right way to respond in certain situations simply sets our kids up and it equips them to have a win. We are simply just giving them the right tools to make the right decisions. When I was preparing for this video, I came across a website that really gave some good insight about playing this kind of game with our kids. This website talked about how playing games like this can help establish brain patterns in our kids' minds. It's kind of like why schools even do fire drills. Each time the kids practice how to safely exit a building, they're establishing patterns in their brains for how to respond if there potentially were to be a fire. In the event that a fire would happen at the school, the kids already have written out a previous brain script that will help them know what to do and how to react and respond the right way. And I want to read you something that I read that I thought was really fantastic. It says, scientific research shows that our brains work by pattern recognition. When an extremely frightening situation happens, human brains sort through their database for a script of actions taken previously. The brain that has more scripts can respond more quickly than a brain that has to process never practiced information. So pretty much that's all and what the What If game is. It is giving your children scenarios of things that might happen to them in real life, and it's practicing with them how to properly respond and what to do in those situations so that when they are faced with those situations, it's not like a first-time thing for them. Their brains have a script that they have already rehearsed, so hopefully they will be more likely to respond in the right way. So how do we play this game? I'm going to share with you what our family does to maybe give you some ideas of how you can make this game work for your family. What I like to do is I just get a jar and I will write out on a piece of paper some different scenarios of things that we find important that we want to make sure our kids are equipped to know how to respond. You can write out any kind of scenarios that you want, but I just write out a bunch of scenarios on a piece of paper and then I can cut them out and fold them up and put them in something like a mason jar or a basket. We like to play this game at dinner time. It's a great way to just kind of have some conversation starters and just gives us some good topic of conversation while we're eating. As we go along, I'm going to share with you maybe a little added feature if you are a family of faith, something else that you can do to add to this game, to take it kind of to another level, to help your kids have biblical responses to certain situations. I thought it would be fun to share with you all some of the things that we have in our what if jar, maybe to hopefully give you some ideas of things that you can put in your own jar or basket. All right, here we go. So the first one says, what if you get separated from mommy and daddy in a large crowd? And of course, we let the kid kind of come up with what they think they would do in that situation. If they need help coming up with, what they should do, then we step in and we all pitch in ideas. I know for our family, it's really important if our kids do get separated from us. We've always told them to go look or find another mommy that has a couple children and go ask her for help if there isn't like a policeman or anybody else around. Another one from our jar asks this. What if someone wants you to look at bad pictures or videos? Let's say one of our kids are hanging out at a friend's house and they want to go online and show one of our kids something that is bad or inappropriate. We ask our kids what they think they would do, what they should do. And this is kind of where that little added feature, if you are a Christian family where you might want to include something like this, there are some situations that don't require a biblical response, like what if you get lost or separated from your parents? But things like this, we feel like that there would be a biblical way that we would want to pour into our kids for how to respond to this. We feel like the Bible gives us an answer in Psalm 101:3. And so on those types of scenarios, I would write a passage of scripture on the back. And once the child has kind of brainstormed and thought through how they would respond, I like to bring in kind of a biblical twist to it. Psalm 101:3 says, I will refuse to look at anything vile and vulgar. Another question we have in our jar for our what if game is, what if you see someone being bullied? Our response for our kids is that they would stand up for those who are being bullied. And this is another one where we felt like there is a biblical reference. And on the back, I've written Psalm 82:3-4. You're here to defend the defenseless. Your job is to stand up for the powerless. So that is how we would counsel our kids in a situation like that. Another question we have in our jar is, what if someone wants you to watch a scary movie? And this is one where we played the game with our girls and they sort of encountered a situation similar to it and they came home and told us about it. And when we asked them how they responded, we were so over the top excited and proud of our girls. What happened for them was they were with another family and the little girl in that family asked our daughters if they wanted to tell scary stories. And every family is different. And if that is fine with you, oh my goodness, no guilt, no shame, no judgment. But for our family, we just don't do scary. We don't do scary movies. We don't do scary stories. We don't do anything that is fearful. Another question in our what if jar is, what if someone wants to touch your private parts? Here's the deal with this. I don't think that this is a subject that you only talk about once in a while with your what if game. This should be a conversation that is ongoing with our kids, that we're constantly reminding them about appropriate behavior and appropriate touch. We've always told our kids and our family what we've done is we have, from the beginning, made it very clear that if there is a part of your body that is covered by your bathing suit, it is off limits for anyone and everyone to touch. And we tell our kids they have the right to tell an adult absolutely not, to yell, to scream, to say no in a situation like that. All right, another one we have is, what if a friend asks you to steal something like bubble gum or a toy from a store? What would you do? We would let them come up with their own response. And this is another one that we feel like as a Christian family, we could share some scripture with them on. And Exodus 20:15 says, thou shalt not steal. It falls under the moral law in the Old Testament, which still applies today. The last little idea for you of what we have in our jar that maybe you want to consider putting in yours is, what if a stranger needs your help to look for a lost puppy, or maybe they want to give you candy, etc.? We have always told our kids that adults never need children's help. If there is an adult that needs help from a child, there is probably something wrong. Adults go to other adults when they need help or assistance. And we've just told our kids that if an adult ever asks you for help, you don't even need to respond to them. You turn around and walk away. And you get as far away from them as you can, and you come find mommy or daddy or another safe adult to talk to and tell. I really hope that this game is something that you find valuable, and I'm hoping that maybe some of you will write your own scenarios of things that are important in your family, and maybe you'll write them down, put them in a little jar or a basket, and have your own version of the what if game to play with your kids. I think it's a great way to prepare them for a situation before the situation inevitably happens. Thanks so much for taking the time to come hang out with me here on my channel. And as always, I hope you will like, comment, and subscribe. And I can't wait to chat with you guys next week. Bye.